Hello, everybody. Welcome to a moment of clarity. There's some breaking news, kind of breaking, the past couple of days about NPR. A lot of people still think that NPR is this, nice little thing you tune into, and they got the news, and it's so adorable. And wait, don't tell me, and the Prairie Home Companion with the thing. Like, everybody seems to still have this fuzzy feeling about NPR without really understanding what it has become, what NPR is today. And so I think that what we've just found out in this new event that's taking place is kind of an admission of where NPR is. It's a very public, not hidden admission to what they have become, to what they are now. They are no longer your little public radio station, so adorable, with the tote bag and the donate a couple of bucks so we can bring you this lovely news. That's gone. That thing is dead and buried. NPR has just announced that their new chief executive, their new CEO, will be John Lansing. Now, you may not know the name John Lansing. Why would you? But John Lansing is currently, I think still today, before he has left and go to NPR, he is the head of the U.S. Agency for Global Media. What is the U.S. Agency for Global Media? It is our government-run propaganda arm. That's what they are. I don't even know that they deny that. I mean, maybe they would be like, oh, we don't do propaganda. No, they're our government-run propaganda arm, and they are the ones that they oversee. So John Lansing oversees the media outlets Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, Radio y Televisión Martí, Radio Free Asia. These are all straight-up U.S. propaganda arms in those various areas. The reason you haven't really heard of those stations, or you don't hear about them much, is because they're not meant for us. They're not meant for Americans. They're meant for other areas of the world where we spew our propaganda into their ears, into their ear holes. And here's the thing, like, if you wanted, you could have a debate where you argue, look, we are this country, America, we are, waging an information war against our adversaries, and so we have created these radio stations like Voice of America, where we go over into Europe and other areas, and we put forward propaganda to further our ends, to help out America. You could make that debate, okay? You could say this is kind of part of our, what the military is to force, this is to information. This is our propaganda arm, our fists on the ground for information. Okay, fine, make that argument. Go out there and say that. But then that's probably not the guy that should fucking run NPR, is it? That's not the guy. If you want to say NPR is this lovely public radio station that brings people the real news, mainly Americans, then you don't fucking put the head of our propaganda arm as the head of NPR. But that's where we are. That's what it is. That we are now there. Where literally the guy just shifts from head of U.S. propaganda to head of NPR. You see how lovely that is? And they don't even fucking hide it anymore. At least fucking lie to us. At least fucking make it secretive that our propaganda center now runs NPR. At least keep it on the down low, man. Jesus. Some of you may know that NPR did an attack piece on me because I'm threatening, right? What I do is threatening. I talk about, anti-war. I talk about not allowing corporations to rule our lives. Those type of things, I talk about the corruption of our political officials and that type of stuff. And I don't just get into the easy two-party boat that allows you to just say, yay, one side, while they agree on 90% of the structural issues of our country. And so that makes, apparently, to NPR, to Weekend Edition, makes me dangerous. So they did a whole 5-minute segment where they just, trashed me. And that's because that is what's scary to them. Someone who actually brings you the truth is threatening to NPR, and that's why they had to come after me and create that segment. And that it speaks to what they do. I mean, if you think about it, and this is nothing that new, it's been happening for many years. I don't know that it's always been this straightforward. I don't think it has. But NPR, like back during Occupy, gave it very little coverage, and then when they did give it coverage, they'd have one of these faux debates on Occupy where they would have, 3 people trashing it, saying it's just fucking homeless people out there. Who knows what they want? They're just confused. For some odd reason, they're saying something about inequality. I don't know what that is. I don't know what they're going on about with their camping sites out at the square down there. There was very little coverage, and they do a lot of, they do very little climate change coverage. Yes, it's getting more mentions now. I'm not going to act like NPR never mentions climate change, but they've been very slow. They've dragged their feet the whole way, as most of our corporate media, because guess what? They're also funded by big oil. If you listen or look up online who is helping fund NPR, it is big oil. It's big oil. It's big banks. They often will say, brought to you by Bank of America. It's Koch Industries. Like the fucking worst entities in the world own portions of NPR. And they are telling you what to think. I mean, NPR knows that if they were to do episode after episode trashing the Koch Industries, they're going to lose their sponsorship. Now, you can find a little piece here or there where, I think they interviewed the woman who wrote the book outing the Koch brothers, who they really are. They may have had them on a program. But the key is they're not hammering home about it the way they hammer home about other propaganda, the way they hammer home about how we've got to go after Venezuela because there's people starving there, and so we have to starve them more because that's how we help them. We wage economic war on poor people, and then we go, look at us helping. Look at what we did for you. Yeah. How many died? Tens of thousands? I'd say worth it. Worth it. So yeah, there's little coverage on like the harm it's very similar to like a CNN or something. It's like CNN, yes, they'll occasionally do a story on an oil spill, but are they hammering home about the harm of big oil, the harm of big banks? Fuck no. Certainly not. You'll get a little mention here or there so they can say, look, we did it. And that's it. 216 stories on Hurricane Dorian in the mainstream media. It was calculated by, I don't know if it was fairness and accuracy in reporting or one of them. 216 stories. One mentioned climate change out of 216 stories on the mainstream media. And NPR is very similar. And now they have the head of U.S. propaganda radio running NPR. They just switched his seats. Hey, you've been running propaganda for America. Come over here and do propaganda for America on NPR. And he was like, that's funny you should mention that. I'm really good at that. He was like, I don't know if you read my resume. That's like what I do. I'm like really good at that. And you read the articles about the fact that this is the new CEO of NPR, and it's all like, he stands up for freedom of press. He's spent his career fighting for freedom of information. Yeah, has he? Has he? As the head of our propaganda arm. And like I said, if you want to argue America should have a propaganda arm, they should be over there with their propaganda radio, fine, make that argument. But don't fucking put that dude at the head of NPR and act like NPR is unbiased. Because they're not. They're not fucking unbiased. They have been taken over. They have been captured. And we see this in a lot of different areas, right? NPR has been captured. Criminal justice system captured by the corporate elite. Our prisons captured. Our police captured. And basically the corporations have gotten so wealthy and so powerful that they can capture each of these entities, largely the court system, largely Congress, almost entirely Congress captured. They own the system, so they capture the things that are threatening to them. That's why Jeff Bezos buys the Washington Post. That's why Sheldon Adelson, who made his $1 billion from casinos, bought the main newspaper in Vegas because it was threatening to him. It was exposing whatever the fuck he was involved in. And it actually was very tough to find out that Adelson had been the buyer because it was a top secret buyer or whatever. But they did, the reporters there did some research, found out it was like Adelson's son-in-law or something, because that's threatening to them. The newspapers are threatening, so they had to buy them up. Okay, well, that's what I got for you today on NPR, but I'm coming to perform in a bunch of cities. Also, if you're watching this on the Redacted Tonight YouTube channel, you should also subscribe to youtube.com/Moment of Clarity Show. Moment of Clarity Show. We gave it a new tag, so it's a lot easier to remember. youtube.com/Moment of Clarity Show. Hit subscribe, hit the bell button. There's 2 reasons to do that, even if you're already on Redacted Tonight. One is there's no commercials over there on Moment of Clarity Show. You can watch this commercial free. Number 2 is that we're getting a lot of suppression, a lot of censorship, and that channel is so far less suppressed, so go subscribe to that one. And number 3, you get these a day earlier. So if you're watching Moment of Clarity regularly, you'll get them a day earlier over on youtube.com/Moment of Clarity Show. All right, I'm coming to perform in Toronto. I already did Minneapolis. Milwaukee, Madison. We added a second show in Toronto. First one sold out. And a bunch of other cities coming up. That's and Washington, D.C., of course. That's at leecamp.com/schedule. All right, go over there. Fucking sign up things. You can also vote for your city to be added, so go vote. All right, keep fighting.